All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first training overview for the new partnership with Compsta. Very excited about this partnership. Those of you who might have heard on our town hall meeting, there's a little context here. We've been working on this partnership for months now and came to the terms that are just absolutely perfect for both parties. And it's a reciprocal partnership. And kind of modeling this after another group that we have seen in our history in solar that they focused on partnering up with real estate agents. And their sole partnership was one way. And that was that the agent would introduce their customers to solar and they would get compensated $1,000 for anything that converted to an install. We have a much better plan, a much better plan where not only can we introduce them to solar, but we can put them on a compensation model. Our plan is to do a revenue share program. And so first it starts out where we revenue share anytime we introduce someone to Compsta. And that's a fantastic way for quick cash flow and for a great product, helping people build their business, which is what another company wasn't doing, or any other company that I've seen so far haven't done to help them build their business. And then we can show them how to have another revenue stream without having to sell. So if you're a connector or a pro, the economics are going to break down pretty simple. It's going to be a third goes to the Compsta team, 20% of that goes to the real estate agent, and the balance is to help Compsta manage the program and build the program. A third goes to the connector, and a third goes to the pro. If you're a pro, then 2/3 comes to you. You can't find a better quality lead. When you think about it from the standpoint of any agent that sells a home, first thing the homeowner is looking for is, where do I get my essential services at? Where do I get whatever at? The real estate agents are always the go-to, and Cindy can speak to that a lot better than I can. I dabbled in real estate a long time ago, but even in that very short period of time, I witnessed exactly that. That new homeowners, the first person they go to is the real estate agent. That's their trusted advisor. Now we extend that into energy efficiency, essential services, solar, and helping them in tremendous ways.
And fucking do the directions spotless.
Jeffrey, let's mute you out. You can be as vocal as you'd like. All right, so here we are. Welcome, everyone. We'll dub out about 30 seconds. So we're very excited about this partnership from all of the aspects of what I just shared. And again, I think the most important thing is we're going to help agents build their business, help brokers build their real estate agents' business. It's just really a mutually beneficial partnership that is unlike anything you've seen in the industry. So with that framework, Sydney, I will turn it over to you. We're excited to learn from you and game on from here.
Well, thank you, Charles. I appreciate it. Just a little kind of background on me is I have been in real estate for about 6 years now. I started as an admin in real estate teams and for real estate brokerages and helped them build the systems that they would use to be able to handle their transactions and their deals. So I kind of got a great behind the scenes look of not only what the struggles were for real estate agents to be able to stay on top of things, but also being able to see what would help the clients best to feel in the loop with their transactions and really just help it be a very symbiotic relationship between the two. So that's kind of where Compsta was born. Whenever I started my journey as a solo agent, I've been on a team before, but also, kind of broke off on my own and was looking at building my own systems and saw that there really wasn't anything that was an all-in-one solution for all these things that real estate agents handle. So I just built it myself. So let me share my screen, and I'm just going to jump right into the software since it's kind of the star of the show. Okay. Whoop. Let me get this switched over so y'all aren't just seeing a million things at once. Okay. Can everybody see that okay?
Good.
Good deal. All right. So this is going to be just our demo account. So I'm going to just kind of go through all the things that Compsta can do. So here we have our overview screen. This is where the real estate agent would be like their landing spot whenever they log into their Compsta account. They can see everything from their listing pipeline to a calendar view of anything that's going on with their deals, any recent activity, and then this right here would be any pending items that need their immediate attention. We also have lead stats and some quick buttons up here. And all of this can be customized to the agent so they can really be able to have those snapshots that they want to see as soon as they log in. Now, up here at the top is where we have our quick buttons. So you can quickly generate a CMA. You can quickly create a tracker. We have ones for both listings and for buyers. But these two buttons are probably the two most used on this overview screen, is adding a lead or adding a contact. Now, we have multiple ways of doing this because I wanted this to be as easy as possible for the agent. I know personally how many times I have gotten a call from a lead when I am at the grocery store or somewhere where I can't capture their information in a very effective way. And I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything that I needed to ask them. So we have a way now where you can just have a quick and easy shareable link that you can even click to text or email them if you have their contact information. And let me pull that up so y'all can see what I'm talking about. It gets all of the information that you need to be able to start doing a CMA, to know what their goals are, and to really start getting on the path towards helping them with listing their house. So all of this can be branded to the specific agent. We can even have their agency colors, photo. We can do any of the logos that they want to have on there, and even input some custom questions if they have specific things that they want to get from those leads. We also have a way for the client to be able to send you property photos so you can get an idea of what the house looks like before you even do your first in-person walkthrough. Once they submit those property details, let me find which tab I had for Compsta here. Once they submit those property details, you can see all of their information over here in the lead hub. So here we have a filing system for your different leads. They can be broken up into sellers or buyers or both. We even have some for commercial leads as well. We also have a way to grab contacts. So contacts would be things like your agents, other photographers, vendors, or lenders, anybody that you want to have quickly available to do business with, but that aren't necessarily a lead that you want to buy or sell to. So within these client files, you can open them up and see all of the information that they have submitted. It'll have all their property information. We even keep track of a lead score, so you can see if it's a warm lead or a hot lead, or if they're getting a little cold and you need to do some follow-up. We've got an activity timeline, so you can keep track of when the last time you called them was, if you met them in person, or even add a quick note. But most importantly, we have a quick and easy way for you to begin generating a CMA report. Now, I know personally as a real estate agent that CMA reports, which are comparative market analysis reports, take up so much time. This was kind of the cornerstone of building Compsta, is that I did not find a solution or even a software out there that would quickly build a report for me that was data rich, but also easy for me to be able to explain to the client and for the client to be able to understand where I'm coming from with the pricing structure for their house. So we wanted to cut time there to save that time for real estate agents, but also make it to where it's a little bit more user-friendly for the client. And that was the goal with Compsta. So I'm going to pull up one of our CMA reports and show you what it looks like. So this is a test client named Jane. She submitted all of her property information, and we have already run this CMA report for her. So you have it where you can, switch out the photo with this. It does automatically pull some stock photos, so it'll never be empty. But if you do have a specific photo that you want to have on that cover page, you can definitely have that. It has a quick look of the, details of the property. Of course, all of that, information about the agent. And we even have features where you can find any of their photos online. So if there is something like this property has been listed before, we can try to pull that photo from just the online geocache. Now, if you want to do a video walkthrough of the CMA report, you can do that. Just upload a Loom video and it'll show on that client side. We've got a quick table of contents. It does an automatic AI summary of the property as well as this executive summary so that you can really get straight into the nitty gritty of what are we saying the value of the property is and what are we saying we could list it for. Also, what every client wants to know is what would the average days on the market be. We even show what the comparables would be so they can see what those addresses are and what the price per square foot comparable would be. and this adjustment grid, which has been extremely helpful for clients to be able to see where those adjustments are being made. Like, why did my neighbor down the street be able to sell their house for more and not me? Well, it could have to do with their square footage, the year of condition, or the lot size. And we can show those adjustments in real time. We also have the value range. This is another thing that has been very important for the agents that we've gotten feedback from. They love continuing to put the sellers in the driver's seat when it comes to pricing their property, because the pricing structure that you go with really does have to do with your client's goals. If somebody is like, I am ready to get out of this house, sell this sucker quick, then we can do a speed sale. And that'll show what this looks like and also give an idea of, what that would mean, that it's ideal for sellers prioritizing speed over maximizing the absolute top dollar. Or we could do a normative sale. This is kind of middle of the road, so we can try to get that fair market value within a reasonable time frame. Or a premium value. If they're looking to try to get these numbers for it, then we can really try to focus on presenting it in a strong way, or maybe even doing some upgrades before we go to market. We also have a price per square foot comparison, that estimated days on the market, and we lead with a price drop strategy. No agent wants to drop price. It's not fun for any of us, but what's important is staying competitive in your market. So being upfront with that price drop strategy is highly effective with your clients. So they already know what the game plan is before they list with you. So we have all of that laid out there. We also have your comparable market location so that you can see exactly where we're talking about, and strategic notes so they can see why we're trying to do things the way that we're doing them. Now, everything in this report is editable. So say you have a different price drop strategy that you want to do instead of what's listed here. You can go through and adjust anything that shows up in this yellow box. So I'm just going to go save changes. Now, something else that has been extremely helpful for the client side of things is how we share our CMAs. I cannot even tell you how many times I have walked a client through how to open a PDF on their email. It's hard for others. It's okay. But we want to make sure that they don't have a barrier to entry when you're trying to share information with them. So we have a way where you can share all of this with a link to your clients, so you can even text it to their phones. We also have it where those links could be password protected if security is a priority of your client, and a link expiration. So the link would go down after 30 days. This is really helpful if you know that you're pitching a CMA to a client that's also entertaining other agents, and you don't want your awesome Compsta report to be accessible to that other agent possibly. Now, we do a lot of reports inside of Compsta. We can do so many, all built on top of that CMA report. So the CMA is our cornerstone. That's where we get all of that information, and agents can even put in their comparables that they want to do and really spend their time fine-tuning these CMA reports. On average, it was taking agents anywhere from an hour to 4 hours to put together a CMA. And I can attest to that personally. I even got really quick at doing CMA reports, and I felt like I was always at my desk doing them. This cuts down that time to realistically about 30 minutes if you really want to have a data rich and do a deep dive into it. Our software can generate a CMA within 2 minutes. But if you really want it to be, rich and have that on the ground, marketing advice and from the real estate agent's perspective, then it really does take having a little bit more time into it. But that's already a significant time cut from what agents were spending on doing a CMA. Once we have that, dialed in CMA report, then we can build on it and do a presentation. So this would be like a listing presentation style. If the agent wants to do this in person with them instead of sending them a link, they can go through a slideshow version of it and be able to really walk them through each part of that CMA report. We also have marketing plans. This is really great to not only showcase to your client that we are, going to put our best foot forward with our marketing for your property, but it's also great to be able to share with your media team and your photographers. So before they go into that property, they know what you want to highlight, what you want to show off, have that shot list for them, and even have the game plan of like, this is what we're trying to do to get the word out about this listing. And this, of course, can also be either downloaded in that PDF, same as the CMA reports, or it can be shared via a link. We also have property pages. So this would be like a custom website for each of your listings. Once you put in all of your listing media and your photos and everything, then this would automatically populate with all of the, key features that you put in on there, the gallery. You can even add things like video and be able to have your client testimonials on here as well, where they can easily schedule a showing. This is great to have as a QR code on any of your marketing materials, to be able to share on your social media, or to have as a QR code on your sign. And it all just automatically generates just from that CMA that we built. Now, one of the things that we are also very much known for is the listing tracker. I want to go into that, but let me show you these other forms here or reports that we can generate too, because these two are really exciting. We have a investment analysis that we can do, and this is really great for if you have investors that are interested in a property and they want to have an idea of what they could rent a property for. So we give an overview of that rental income, those comparable rentals, cash flow analysis, and even have a short-term rental potential. So if they're interested in doing something like an Airbnb or a VRBO. And down here at the bottom, we even show what some of the improvements could yield for the investor too, just to give them some idea of the potential that a property could have. We try to be very clear with our data, but also be extremely data rich so that they really can see all the things that we can look at as real estate agents and be able to make an informed decision about their investments. And again, all of this can be shared with either a link or a PDF. We can also do a utility scope report. So this would have a lot of information that would be really helpful to a potential buyer, but is also something that we hope to have a further partnership with Compsta on, so that we can help to push some of those energy efficiency projects as well, where they can see an idea of what their electric costs would be, who they need to go to turn on their electricity, natural gas, water and sewer. They can even click on these boxes and be able to open up, what their website and their contact information is. So lots of exciting information that we can share with those clients. Now, we are not just reports. We also like to make sure that nothing is falling through the cracks for both listings and for your buyers. So we are big on listing trackers. This was something that was a passion project of mine, as I helped so many brokerages and real estate teams and saw how difficult it was for them to keep everything in their heads for what they were doing with their clients, especially if they had multiple listings going at once, which is always the goal. So we do have a systematic approach to how your listings are structured, and this can all be customized for the agent so they can really have their own process into, how their system is working for them. We've got a checklist system, so they would be able to see where they're at throughout the process of, onboarding a client, and then you can check all of those items off. We also have different stages, so you can see the property preparation, the photography and media, as well as once the listing is active. So not only is this a checklist for you as the agent, but it also populates through the client portal so the client can see what their agent is doing. One of the number one complaints that I think real estate agents get, but also that clients can feel, is that they are not informed about what their agent is doing. And it's usually not because the agent isn't working their butt off to try to get that listing sold, but it's just a lack of communication about the day-to-day that the agent is doing. So we fix that with having this client portal. Now, this would be a link that you can share with your client so they can always see where you're at in that checklist. They can tell what current phase you're at, and they can see at the bottom here what services you're doing for them as their agent. And again, all of this is customizable to that agent's specific process. They can look here and see any showing requests or showings that have been completed. So they always have quick and easy access to how many showings their property has had. A place where you can upload documentation for them so they can always see where their listing agreements are, or anything that has their signatures. And they can just see their general stats. So their days on the market, how many showings they've had, feedback, report views, any offers. We really try to make it just a quick grab for them so they can see the progress that's being made on their listing. Now, I personally like to do client updates once a week for my clients, and I wanted an automated way to do that as well. So we have an update client button on every tracker where you can send them a personalized note. So let's just do a mock one here. So we'll say showing scheduled soon. And then I can preview this update that will automatically email to them. So they'll be able to see here that they've got a listing update. They can see that current phase that we're in on their listing checklist and that specific message from me. When they click view full status report, it'll take them right to their client portal so they can see all of the further details. And you can easily just send update and it'll automatically email to them. Now, another issue that I have seen with trying to coordinate listings is whenever an agent ends up playing middleman between the client and the photography team. So we actually built in a way to schedule photography in a much easier way. Whenever you go over here to media, or you can also do it from the listing media tab on the side here, you can schedule your photographer. So that same way in the lead hub where we could input those contacts for, vendors and lenders and photographers, it'll pull all their information so I can pick which photographer I want to use for this property, what kind of session I want for them. So let's say it's just photography. And then it will send a scheduling link to the client. The client can pick up to 3 preferred days. So that's weekdays from 8 to 5. And it does have some parameters around that to make sure that it would still be doable for the photographer. After the client selects which dates would work for them for photography, it will automatically send to your photographer so they can confirm that date as well. And then you as the agent will get notified whenever all of that information has been inputted. So you can see where they are in the process, but you're not having to micromanage them. Those two people can decide when it would be best for them, and then your photography is scheduled. It'll also let the client know in their client portal and keep them updated on those dates so that they always have that reminder of when their photography is going to be happening. And based on that CMA, we also have a little section here for that price drop strategy so that whenever you send that CMA that has the price drop strategy, you don't have to try to keep all of those dates in your head either. We have it where it can be quickly accessible from your tracker. And we do have the same kind of tracking abilities on the buyer side. The buyer side does get a little bit more, it's more about picking the properties. So we might go into that in another training session, but I do want to go over with y'all the listing media. So here we have it where once you receive the photos back from your photographer and you're ready to start doing some marketing and getting that listing online, you can upload them all into your listing media section. It'll automatically parse them into what's an interior shot, what's an exterior shot. Here, let me pull up one that has a little bit more photos in it. Here we go. So here you can see which ones are interior, which ones are exterior, and this is our AI automatically parsing these into those folders. You can also create your own folders if you want to add things to a certain folder like my favorite shots or one specifically for, coming soon marketing. So you can really customize that to what works best for your process. Once those photos are inputted here, we can actually do a social media post and download it directly from Compsta. You can figure out what orientation you want depending on where you're going to be posting this. So if you want to do a landscape version, if you want to do a story, you can pick which photo you want to do. We even have different templates built out. So if you want to do a coming soon one, or if you like the just listed, and you can adjust the text on all of these as well. And then you would just click download so that you can already, get that uploaded into Facebook. We also have an AI listing description that you can do. This kind of gives you a more polished way to have control over what the AI is trying to promote about your property because we gave it these built-in parameters. This helps a lot more than just trying to throw something into ChatGPT and hoping that it knows what you're trying to do. This way you can control the tone, the length, have those key features on there and any additional notes you want to mention. And then you can have that property description right there. This will automatically go on things like your property page and any of the marketing materials that we have here at the bottom so that you don't have to copy and paste it a million times. Anything within Compsta, it'll already be there for you. So this is an already generated property flyer that we could print right now and have ready to go. And then right here is also where we can schedule that photographer. You can also do it from your listing tracker, but just another place to be able to do it. Coming soon, we do have AI staging. We're working on that. We'll be rolling it out soon. So this is kind of an overview of how this would work on the listing side. I was going to take a short break and see if anybody had any questions.
I have a comment, and that is, I can't wait as a seller of a home right now. I can tell you, I cannot wait to get our agent using this because I know she's working hard, but we have no visibility. This is absolutely phenomenal for the homeowner to be able to see in real time what's happening with the home. So, well done.
Yeah. Thank you. We really tried to pull not just from real estate agents, because I mean, I clearly had some experience working with them and trying to implement systems into their day-to-day life, but also from clients and say like, hey, what would be better for you? What would help you feel like this was the best process for you? So really tried to take it from both sides. So I'm glad that I was already showing for people that are just watching the demo.
And then just as a side note, we will be, for anybody watching the recording, we're going to paste a link in the chat, but it's actually going to be an even easier link going forward. So by the time you watch this video, you just go to Compsta, COMPSTA.thecommonstead.com to register. I'm going to make it super simple. It's already in the process of propagating, but for those who are here today, I'm going to paste that link in the chat and it will take you directly to the enrollment page. I'll paste that a little later as well.
Good deal.
Open it up for questions, comments for Sydney, please. Anybody?
I have a question. Is there, this is great, by the way. I've been making my list of like realtors and stuff, and even like photographers I know that do real estate and stuff like that. So I'm just loving this. And I agree with Charles. We sold our home 3.5 years ago, and all these features as a client selling our home would have been so great. Is there like a demo available? So like if a realtor wants to see like what this is and kind of how it interfaces, is that available?
Yes, absolutely. If you are interested in, being one of the sales agents for Compsta, whenever you sign up, you'll have access to all of our demos that you can send, as well as any of our marketing materials, so that they can get a quick snapshot of what all Compsta can do, and it'll help us track it that it was a lead that came from you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I signed up last night after our town hall and stuff. So
Oh,
I was just curious about that. So
yeah, good deal.
great, thank you.
Yeah.
And Dave, your question is a good question. We chose to not create more confusion on team overrides on the Compsta model. However, where the real money is when the agents interact and get homeowners that engage, get energy efficiency, water filtration, any of the products we have. That's where the team building bonuses come into play. 6% and 3% as it's always been structured.
Yeah. The goal is definitely to have Compsta be able to take like the busy work off of agents, where they can really focus on those client interactions instead of having to make sure that all their paperwork is in order and like, oh, it's going to take me 20 minutes to figure out how to do a Facebook post for this. They just take that busy work out of the way so they can really focus on what does my client need right now. And if it's that they're worried about utility bills whenever they move to a new state, or, they've got some questions about that, where this is taking that off of that agent, where they can really focus on being able to provide more of a service to them, and energy efficiency is just right up there with it.
Char, I have a question. So when we register, we get our own link that we can share with the team?
Yes.
So when the team submit, I don't know, some real estate agents submit any home for that, what we receive? Because that's different, right? So it's a real estate agents and they want to sell or listing property. Do we get benefit for that or no? That's my curious here.
So the benefit comes in first for your direct referrals. You do get 20% revenue share on those. There's no revenue share on the team bonus side because we didn't want to impede the pricing model for Compsta. The revenue share comes in when the products or services are sold or taken advantage of by the homeowners. That'll track naturally through the system. So let's just say, Desi, you enrolled Lily. and Lily enrolled an agent, you won't get any rev share off of that, a couple bucks a month. Instead, any agent sales that are made, you'll get the 6% revenue share from that. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank
Okay, good.
So basically what this is you're providing a solution for realtors to make their job easier while at the same time providing yourself a free lead generation source.
Amen.
Bingo!
Yes, you got it, brother.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this on town hall last night. I know at least 10 people who, when they were building their business within another platform, all they focused on was real estate agents, and they were constantly in the top 10. It's like 5 who were constantly in the top 10 in that category. And they didn't do any prospecting. They didn't do any social media advertising. They went to real estate offices and they did educational sessions on solar. Guess what? Way beyond this is beyond solar and then some, giving them an amazing tool to run their business, then offering them the revenue share opportunities without having to do any selling. Well beyond $1,000 referral. This is a lot better for the agent.
There's a question in the chat from Dave. I think we may have answered it already
did.
with Desi's question. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Evangeline.
Cool. Well, I think I'll launch into the buyer side of this too. So if we've had some people who have sold their house before, then I'm sure you've had people here that have tried to buy a house. So let me show you what we're doing to kind of streamline that process too. The listing side tends to be where we are a little bit more robust because there's so much that goes into trying to prepare a listing for selling. So it's easier for us to have those checklists. But I personally specialize as a buyer's agent. It's where I have a lot of passion because I do think that buyers sometimes can be left off to the wayside. So we were sure to have a great system for them here. So whenever you have those buyer leads that come in, we have a way for you to track them just the same as we would for that intake form. So we can add that buyer lead just the same way, and we do have that shareable form too, where you can say it's the buyer. And then this one will also have more of questions about what it is they're looking for, so they can get started with finding their dream home. And they can input things like their budgeting, if they are pre-approved, do they need a lender? So it really helps us to get more of an idea of what they're looking for. We even have some more vague questions so that we can just get an idea of what it is that they're interested in. So if we know they put that they are interested in being near top schools, then they probably have children, and we can keep that in mind, like just to kind of get some subtle information for a real estate agent so they can really try to, customize this to what their client is looking for, beyond just how much square footage do you want and what's your budget. We also like to keep track of what their timeline is. This will automatically go into that lead file so we can see what sense of urgency we need to have for them, so we're staying on top of the timelines that client wants to. So once this buyer is put in here, they get that same kind of lead score. They also have that quick criteria. So again, we're trying to just have those quick snapshots for the real estate agent. If they get a call from David and it's been 6 months since they last talked to him, they can pull up their file and be able to see that quick information for them. And even see in those notes anything that we inputted about them, like relocating from Houston. So once we have this buyer, we've got that buyer's representation agreement in place, then we can create that buyer tracker for them. So let's see, David is in closing status. So I'm going to move him over here just so we can say that David is still searching. We'll take him back to search. Now up here we have that same kind of search checklist. So we can say that he has been pre-approved. We've already done our initial consultation with him and we've defined his search criteria. All we need to do is get that showing schedule set up. So first we need to figure out what houses are we looking at with David. And we do that by sending them property pics. Now we can add a property by either copy and pasting. Maybe he texted you a Zillow link and he's like, I love this house. I want to look at this one. You can just grab that Zillow link from your text messages and input it here in search, and it will pull up that property. Or we have our own property search feature here where, say, we're looking in Dallas for him. Sometimes it has trouble with the hyphens. I'm going to say Sulphur Springs. If I could type. All right. So we're looking in Sulphur Springs for him. And we were looking through this house and we're like, oh, you know what? I think this would be perfect fit for David. We can see a quick snapshot of all of its information and that description, even be able to see the listing agent and save him as a contact for us. So if I know like we're going to be negotiating later, I can just save him immediately because I want to make sure I have his contact. If we need to, we can pull an investment report or get a market pulse, even see some comps and some neighborhood insights. So if we do want to get some more information for David, we certainly can. And any of those reports we can add to their buyer portal, which I'll show to you as well. But let's say we really like this one. We want to send it to him. So I can say, this is that property. I want to send it to David, automatically sent. Now, if I'm looking at this house and I think this one might be a good fit, but I know David hates shutters, then I'm not sure if I want to send this to him. I want to kind of feel him out first. So if I click send to buyer, I can actually save this to drafts and it'll be in a separate area for David that only I can see, but I can make sure that these are the properties I want to send to him first. So it'll be saved in a draft section for him. Now, when I go back to our buyer portal, I can see all of the pics that I have sent to David here. This is that one on Moore Street we just sent to him. And if I go over here to his portal, so I'm going to go to share portal, and I can either just send that via SMS. It'll actually pre-write a quick little introduction for him on like, this is your portal and this is what your next steps are. We can do the same thing with email, but for this sake, I'm just going to copy and paste this link here, which you can also do. So now David can see that he is in the search section of his home buying journey. He can has a quick access to his agent's contact information. And he can see here that the next step is to rank his picks. So these are hand-selected picks from his agent. Here we have that draft, but he can see these properties. And then he can rank these from 1 to 5, with 1 being his top pick, 5 being his least favorite, and leave you any notes about the property. So you as an agent aren't having to go back and forth with like, here's 15 Zillow links, let me know which one you like, and trying to make sure that you're having that communication and he's not getting confused on, was this the house on Houston Street or was this the house somewhere else? Like it's so easy to get all of these jumbled up in your head as the agent and as the client. So we wanted to have it in a quick and easy layout way like this. He can go through these pictures and then he can go through and rank them. So say this is one that he loves, like love this house. And he can go through and rank each and every one of them. And then when he submits the rankings, it'll notify his agent what David ranked, which ones he liked, and any notes that he left for us. David can also come here and be able to see the properties in kind of a different way if he's not as interested in looking at them, in that kind of snapshot. Now, other things that he can do within his portal is if we have a showing scheduled, he'll be able to see all of those showings right here in his showing portal, where you can get quick directions and even leave feedback on that showing. So afterwards, we can push this to him again and say, hey, if you don't mind, just let me know what you thought about the houses once you've had some time to sleep on it. So you're not having to be a pushy agent and figure out, did you like any of them? Like, did we hate them all? Like, what was going on? Where's that client laying with that range? And so he can go through and rank these properties and say, let's say you didn't like this one. Like, not a fan. Let's take off the list. And now that agent has that communication where you both know that you are talking about this Houston Street house and not one that he's getting mixed up. So, and this will just show the showings that you have. It'll even show upcoming showings as well as past showings. David can even go on here and make a request for a certain property. So say he wants to take a look at Houston Street, and he can let you know his availability. So instead of having that back and forth, if he wants to do it this way, he can just send a quick request. He'll also be able to go over here and be able to see how he ranked his favorites. So we can always go back and reference that. And if there is a house that we've done a showing on, then he can even submit an offer amount. Now, this would just go to his agent, but it's a great way for him to be able to, not have to be pressured by that agent. If this is a certain client that feels like that, where you can submit this and say, hey, when you've had time to think it over, you let me know what offer amount you want to make and if there's any details you want to include. So if he really liked Como Street, it's like, let's offer 260. I am going to be financing this one and say I really want to close in 45 days. And then he can submit that offer. We also have the same way where the agent can upload any documents that he signed. So say he has signed that buyer's rep agreement and you want to have that available for him to always be able to see documents that have his signature on it. Or you can upload things like a quick home guide, or these are the checklist things that I like to look at whenever we're doing showings, things like that, so that he has those resources readily available to him. And there's even a chat function where you can go back and forth. Sometimes this helps versus getting everything lost in a string of text messages. I personally have used this whenever I have worked with friends, because it's hard to keep track of what is a friend chat and what is a client chat. So being able to have a separate area for that has been extremely helpful. So that is the portal. On the agent side, you can also see all of that information and be able to keep track of David's activity as well. So we can see that he submitted that offer. And it just helps us to not only be able to stay on top of him, but have that back and forth communication about making sure that he is picking these properties that he likes and that we're staying on top of which ones were his favorite and why that was his favorite. And then, of course, we can move David through different stages. So right now he's moved to offer, and this will automatically have him in an offer checklist whenever we move property stages. David has been moved back and forth from search to complete a couple of times now. So it will automatically say that we have completed all of these checklists, but it'll pull this up again so he can see we've done that comparable analysis review. The offer price was agreed on with the buyer. We've submitted the offer. We've reviewed the counter offer and final terms accepted. Once all these checklists are checked off, it will automatically move David on to the next stage. So now we're in the contract part where we need to get the earnest money deposited, talk to the title company, option period, home warranty, things like that. It'll even give us some little prompts here if we need to select certain dates so that Compsta can help you keep track of dates like your option period, closing dates, when the inspection is, and things like that. And then you can just move those buyers all the way to closed. And then it'll automatically have a way to remind you to stay on top of even these closed clients. So back on that lead score, whenever somebody gets into a cold lead score, then they will automatically go into your action items that need attention to say, hey, let's reach out to them. We even have within our lead hub a way to keep track of those follow-ups. So if there is somebody like Jane here that we need to, re-engage with, it'll have these smart reminders. So you can click review and automatically see what it's suggesting for you to send her as a reminder. So even leads that you have already closed with or haven't closed with, we try to keep them in at least a warm or hot stage so that nobody falls through the cracks. And you can do the same thing with sellers and with showings too. And we also have open house software. I didn't have a chance to go over this on the listing side, but this is something that is very popular in certain areas, is to do open houses. And we have a way of setting that up within their report section and then keeping track of the leads that come off of just those open houses. And it's all going to pull the same information that we had before of the AI description, any of the listing media you've uploaded. So you're not having to take one thing and put it in 5 different softwares, it's all done throughout Compsta. Another thing that is really helpful is our testimonials. So you saw on our property website, that property page that we can automatically generate, where it'll have your testimonials for clients that have worked with you before on there. The way that we're pulling that is actually being able to import directly from a website. So that agent can throw in here their Google review website, and it'll scan all of those reviews that have been left and throw them in here. This can be used either on any of your marketing materials or on things like those property pages, Facebook posts, things like that. It also helps us to keep track of, we know Patricia and James left us a great review, and I can see them also in my client section as well. Now, as far as analytics go, we are a very data-rich company. This is our demo account, so it's going to look a little different than an active account, but you will be able to keep track of how many reports are shared, how many total views you have on your reports, and the average view time of those reports, as well as being tracked by the type and recent activity. Now, this is super helpful for somebody who has a real estate team or a brokerage if they want to keep an eye on what are my agents actually doing, or if I have an agent where they're not closing deals and they're complaining to me about, what do I need to do to close more deals? What can I do? You can actually see what they've been up to, what level of engagement they've had with their reports, what CMAs they're doing, what engagement they have with their leads and with their listings. So it just helps to keep a closer eye on them and be able to see where the gap is so that you can even help as a mentor. All right.
Keeps getting better. Love it, Sydney. I want to share one thing on my screen just to show each of you that are either virtual or on with us today what this will take you to in terms of getting enrolled. Here we go. Make sure I got the right page. So if you go to compsta.thecominstead.com, this is now live. This allows you to get your referral link. Real simple. I can just put my stuff in here just so I can walk you through, and I will put my password in. And that way you can see the whole process. Y'all can get started on this today. And here I just saved my password. And there you go. A real complicated process. Get some background noise in there. You can see here the apply now button about the homestead. Anything you want to add to that, get rid of all that background noise. Stand by. You can unmute yourself, Sydney. Okay. Any add-on color to that link and expectations? Sydney?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't realize you were asking a question. I'm
I
sorry.
think it's pretty simple. I haven't gone through and picked up my email to grab it yet, but I just did a registration and I just got acknowledgement at the same time. So we go through that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Working one.
We do have lots of resources for people that are, wanting to sell Compsta, so that you have, plenty of information and documents that you can share, as well as those demo videos, because it is a very comprehensive software. We wanted to make sure it was a one-stop solution. And so that means we got a lot of features, y'all, but we want to make sure that you have access to being able to share that easily with anybody who would be interested.
Fantastic. We'll have edited versions of this video as well. This is going to be in our library, but we'll create a version of this that is shareable in addition to whatever great resources that the Compsta team has for you. We'll have internal assets as well. And over these next few weeks, we'll start creating graphics, things that you can post, things you can send to your people that are in real estate space, so you can start building that part of your business. And then the next phase of that will be help us marketing to those agents to grab onto these essential services and solar and everything that we do. So what you want to do is get ahead of it, start getting people enrolled before other people do it in your market. Take advantage of the time. This is the soft launch, and we're going to start promoting this very heavily over the next few weeks. We got about 8 minutes left in this meeting. So the rest of this time, Sydney, anything else you want to share or just want to open up to Q&A?
I'm good with Q&A if anybody has any questions.
Okay. Open discussion, Q&A. It's your time now, folks.
Just to recap, Charlie, we get 10% directly with Compsta, but the that enroll with us in Common Step is going to get additional 6% and 3% revenue. Am I right?
Correct. So on Compsta, when you enroll in Compsta and you enroll an agent, you get 20% of that SaaS revenue. There's no overrides on the SaaS revenue. The overrides come into the product side. So as that homeowner engages through their real estate agent and products and services are sold, that's where you get 6% for direct referrals, 3% for any other second loan referrals. We didn't want to take away from the revenue side on Compsta by cutting those numbers down because we want to make sure we're incentivizing people to get as many agents in the program as we can. Better than making a few bucks.
When you go to her website, they say 10%. If somebody read it there, what will be the difference between enrolling directly with her size to our size? Make sense? Or no?
So it's 20%. That's the same percentage that's being paid out. That's what's being paid out through Compsta and through the Common Stud. And there's a raised hand. Oscar, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, I'm having lunch, so I don't think you guys want to watch me munching. Quick question. I know a bunch of real estate agents, especially in my chamber. What is my first step to contacting them? What information can I give them? When will this video be available? Answer any one of those questions.
Okay, I'll yield to you, Sydney.
So first step would be signing up through that link that Charles shared so that we can make sure you're in our database, and then we can get all of those resources to you for things that you can share with them to showcase the features that we have, as well as the demo videos and things like that, so we can get them excited about it too.
Great, because I did that. I just signed up, so I'm waiting for the email with that link to come up.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And then you'll find resources that'll be available to you once you've enrolled. And again, we'll have these sessions for the next 3 or 4 weeks live training, and then we'll turn them into open Q&A after that. Kind of the same as we do in all of our other products and services. So take advantage of the training while we're having these, because we're going to all learn more and more about this and start creating more assets and tools that you can help build your business. Rachel, you're next up, and then Dave Brown.
So if we enroll a realtor with Compsta, and then should we also enroll them, have them sign up in Commonstead? Am I understanding that correctly? So they'll enroll in 2 things if they want to?
If they want to, yeah. What we want to be cautious of, and this is lessons that I learned in the other businesses that I've been in, is we don't want to have the brokers feeling like it's going to distract the agents by coming and trying to sell services with the Commonstead. This is more
Gotcha.
So if they anything sold through Compsta is going to be passive income for the agents. There are going to be agents, however, that are going to want to get actively involved in promoting. That's the agent that you'll want to get enrolled into the Commonstead. That's it.
Okay.
If you have some say, hey, I'd like to actually sell these services, or I'd actually like to actively get involved, then get them enrolled in the Commonstead. Otherwise, it's going to be more passive and driven through messaging that's going to be created through the Compsta platform for them. Okay. So
Okay,
they
perfect.
don't have to sign up for 2 services at that point. Only if they want to become a direct agent.
That's kind of what the line I was thinking on too, but I just wanted to make sure. So, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Great question though, Rachel. Dave Brown. Dave, I know you've had audio issues in the past. We can't hear you. Throw it in the chat if you can, Dave. And we'll go to any other questions or comments. I don't see anything in the chat. This is your time. Sometimes.
Yeah, Sydney, just I know we've been talking about realtors and stuff. how does this apply to like new home builders? Because a lot of them don't have their own in-house realtors. They outsource it.
I don't know how exactly it would be the most applicable to a home builder unless they were trying to manage the actual sale of those properties internally. Um, this is much more directed to just the real estate agents, but it would help if they're trying to like do their own marketing materials and things like that with the built-in marketing that we can do in the checklists.
It's a
I
good
don't know
question.
if I fully answered your question. But
Good. And this is part of, well, we're pioneering this. We're going to find out maybe there's an opportunity there, or maybe that's where you make contact and they become part of the Compsta. It's something that you can help us experiment and find out the best flow. So let's kind of double click on that, Carlos.
Yeah, because I wasn't too sure exactly if there was any kind of proven history there. Because even though they're outsourcing it, they're going to still want a way to track all the development on those listings that they've completed the new builds on. So I was just curious.
yeah, that's a really interesting question. And I feel like we could probably modify it to in a way that would support what they were trying to keep track of too. So yeah, I might have to play with that a little bit and see what we could do.
So Dave, take a instead of a half empty, take a half full look at this. Any other referral affiliate program out there that's focused, that's all they do. They focus on building one thing. We're focused on building the Compsta. We're using this as a tool to get you in front of real estate agents and incentivizing for you to do that. And then you're going to have a lot more financial benefit than $4 a month for having referred somebody. You're going to have hundreds to thousands of dollars a month for every agent that comes in and offers these services. So look at this as a tool to get in front of more homeowners, not just getting in front of agents. Make the money by referring the agents, and then make the money off of the products and services that are offered through those agents. That's the benefit of this program. If we were strictly going to go sell Compsta, that'd be a whole different conversation, but this is part of the whole ecosystem. Okay. And Oscar's question, that's probably the last question because I know we have a stop here in 2 minutes, is the costs for the realtor to use the platform. Maybe you want to share a cost structure.
Yes. So let me pull up
All
the
those benefits are
slide.
amazing. Imagine managing your business a whole different level as an agent.
So we do have 3 different programs that somebody could do: an individual agent or a solo agent. It would be $99 a month. And then there is a yearly fee or a yearly annual subscription, I should say, where they would get a little bit of a percentage off teams. So that would be people that have 3 to 5 agents. They would be $199 a month. And then agencies, which would be like a brokerage, they're $799 a month.
And I think you can see that when you go into all the training. If not, we have that on the deck that we shared from last night. We'll make sure you all have access to that. We're going to have a page specifically for Compsta inside our library. We'll be putting that together over the next few days. So all the tools that you need, in addition to what's in Compsta's platform, we'll have more tools inside of our resource center as well.
Yes. We also have a way for people to be able to sign up for a free account. It is very limited, like they can only do 1 CMA. We do, have kind of a free trial where they can explore all the features, but the goal is to get them plugged in so that we can really integrate into their process so that we're not just another like one-off system they tried and forget to use. Like we really want to be helpful to their day-to-day.
Cindy, can you share your information, like email or phone number, please? I have a few questions for you.
Sure. Here, I can put that in the chat real quick.
And then we're gonna wrap at this point. So I'm going to stop the recording and